we are live. Let me set this up here. Let's see. Okay. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to be taking a print off of the resin printer. I'm trying to set this up into the little holder right quick. Let's see. There we go. Okay. All right. So I'm just doing a little live right quick. Still working with my phone, so things aren't great, but let's see. Let me make sure I've got everything. No, okay, so that's fine. That's fine. Okay, let's see. All right, I guess we're working. I don't know. So let's see. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to take this print off here. So when you're working with resin prints, let me back this up some. All right, so when you're working with resin prints, you do not want to touch the print with bare hands because the resin is toxic. I mean, it's not like, VX gas toxic or anything like that, but I mean, you don't want to touch it. It can cause contact dermatitis. And the attention person, this person is always looking for attention. This is Sir Gregory. Oh, what? I'm busy right now. So, and also it's going to make it a little hard to hear me, but you want to wear a respirator, something. Now, the fumes are not good to breathe. They don't really bother me, but they can cause sore throat, can cause pain and stuff, and I'm sure it's just not good. I've got a lot of ventilation in here, so it's not like it's concentrated or anything, but I'm going to put this on, which will make it a little bit hard to hear me, and I hope you can still hear what I'm saying. But anyway, so this completed. Usually when they complete, let them sit a minute. Excess resin will drain off. So I'm going to take it off here. Well, actually, let me pop this off. This is my isopropyl alcohol that I'm going to be washing the excess resin off with. Woo, that's getting dirty. Okay. You could clean the isopropyl alcohol by, you know what? All right. You're not supposed to do it, but like I said, it doesn't bother me. And I don't get up in it, and I have such good ventilation that I can kind of get away with it. So I'm going to take this off just so you can hear me. Anyway, I was going to say that you can clean the isopropyl alcohol somewhat by exposing it to UV. Any of that excess resin that gets washed off the prints that's diffused into the fluid will solidify, and then you can use like a strainer funnel, which so it has a little tiny micron strainer in there, and that'll catch the big chunks, and then that helps you, keep the isopropyl alcohol for longer. I'm going to probably be switching over to mean green or simple green or something like that. I've seen a lot of documentation that show that it cleans just as well, and it's non-toxic, and it smells better and it's a hell of a lot cheaper than isopropyl alcohol. So anyway, take this off. It's been dripping for hours, so there's really no excess resin. If you could see that, you got all your support structures. And some people may not know, but the way a resin printer prints is you're basically starting from the bottom of your model or whatever, and you're printing all the way up to the top. So it comes out upside down. So anyway, You get your scraper. I've got a silicone mat here, and I'm just going to scrape it off on. Let's see. I think y'all can see that. I'm sorry. I know this is high. This is high-end production value right here. So, and then I'm just going to scrape it off. And these, I've never had a problem with release on this Creality build plate. It's just a smooth build plate, but I've never had adhesion problems at all. It's really just once you get your settings dialed in for the resin that you're using, then I've solely used Sunlu ABS like resin for all of my resin prints, and I've not had one fail. And I just use the recommendations right on the bottle. It says 5 bottom layers. I use 40 seconds for the initial layers, and then I use 2 seconds for every layer after that, and it works fine. So I like to get my get the supports off before I wash it. So I'm just dabbing some excess resin that was dripping here. And the good thing about these silicone mats, I'm trying to do it so you can see it, nothing sticks to it. So stuff just wipes up effortlessly. So I'm going to start removing these supports. And if you've got models that have fragile components, you don't want to just go ripping these supports off, because you may take something fragile off of your model that you don't want to remove. But this doesn't have a lot of, and on this particular model, I used ground only supports. So it only built up supports from the build plate. It didn't create branching supports off of the model or anything like that. So, and like this has hardly any smell right now. And optimally, you want to use a respirator, and I'm making sure that I recommend that, is you want to use a respirator. But I do this fairly quickly, and it doesn't bother me. I've never had a burnt throat or anything like that. I used medium supports on this because it's a solid print. It's not hollowed or anything, so it's a solid. And I still got some artifacts. So if I was going to paint this or anything, I'd want to sand it to get some of these little attachment points from the supports off. But other than that, for a display piece or just something for me to look at, I don't mind. I'm not making this for a person or a customer or anything like that. I'm making it just purely for myself. So came out really well. It's solid. So now I'm going to put it in the alcohol, and it's just barely this cleaner, which is the Creality cleaner, and it's also a cure station too, cleaner and cure. I just dipped my hands to get some excess resin that was on my hands off. The IPA smells worse to me than the resin does. And then I have this cheap little flip top thing, but it's also so until I can empty it, I can close it off. Kind of keeps the fumes and stuff contained within there. So, all right. And then I set it for a wash of 2 minutes on quick, which is it has a magnetic impeller on the bottom, so it will impel it, and let it wash. You can't run it without the lid, and then hit start. And there it goes. So I also I've had some luck using the Clorox disinfecting wipes This helps clean up stuff really well. So like I'll clean up this this silicone mat with them. I hope this is coming across good. I don't know how the audio is. I'm sorry if it's terrible. Instead of just shooting a video, I figured, well, let's just go live and do it that way. But then I clean the excess resin off the scraper. And there we go. I try to clean as I go so that I don't have a big mess to clean up. All right, so that's not fully submerged in there, so kind of the top lip, that's why I have a little soft bristle old toothbrush to just kind of wipe it down too. That's what I use. I also have an extra bottle of IPA here if I just need to clean something off. But another 43 seconds there. I did start adding some acoustic panels to the walls. I can tell from being in here, the sound is a lot more deadened than it was. It's not nearly as bouncy and tinny as it was. Oh wow! I'm just noticing I printed some desiccant boxes for my P1S I got yesterday right here, and the humidity in that box is down to 17%. So it's really dry in there. All right, let's see. Let's get this set back up here. You can see my lighting right there. Sorry about that. All right, so it's finished washing for 2 minutes. Pop this off. Let me scrub these tops very quick. Make sure all the nooks and crannies here. I don't know if y'all can see that. One more dunk. All right, you set right there. And what do I do with my lid? Oh, it has a thick seal. This cleaning and curing station comes from Creality. It's not really big enough. It was recommended as a combo with the Creality Halot Mage 8K, but I mean, depending on what you print, it just barely fits. I mean, the build plate's larger than the container, so that was not some good thought from Creality. This should have at least been able to accommodate the full size of prints that you can get off of the Halot. But like ideally, you should be able to take that build plate and go straight into your wash it, pull it out, take your supports off or whatever. That at least that's my thought. And some other brands do that. I'm really trying to get Anycubic. I don't have any of their machines. I've never used any of their machines. I'm just cleaning up some IPA that splashed. So here. But I'm really trying to get a hold of Anycubic to give a new YouTuber a chance. I'd really love to do a side-by-side between the Halot Mage and their M3, their Photon M3 Max, because it's got a 13.6 or something, I think, build plate. So it can build quite a bit larger than this, but this is a 10.3, and so that M3, Max, I'd love to do a side by side so you can see like the same print on both, sliced and scaled to each bed, and then started at the same time, so you can just get that huge size. The M3 Max has got several features that the Halot doesn't. It's got the resin fill and automatic monitoring. It's got heated. I think it's got a heated vat. I think, or maybe it doesn't. I can't remember. I'm looking at so many damn resin printers because I really love resin printer. When you're going for that detail and stuff, it's hard to get better than resin. So it's going to be a little loud. So, but I like to blow off and dry it. Headphone warning. But I like to try to get as much of the IPA dried as possible before I cure it. So there you go. That's after it's washed. It's a little bit duller. It's not as shiny. Let's see. Part of the reason I'm thinking about going, I watched one of Uncle Jesse's videos where he compared, IPA versus Simple Green versus Mean Green versus Mr. Clean, like floor cleaner. And he said that he actually got the best cleaning out of Mean Green. And he used an ultrasonic cleaner with the Mean Green, and he said that there was no residual resin left on the print when he pulled it out. And the fact that it's non-toxic and it's cheap, it's biodegradable, so you don't get, the smell, you don't have to deal with IPA. And if you get better cleaning, that's awesome. So this little blower from AirTech thing is strong. All right, that looks pretty good. So as you can see, a bit more matte finish there. Now we're going to cure it, I think, if I can get it to fit inside here. That's the other thing, is this cure station not a great for the size of print you can do. Like, I can put it in here, and I guarantee you it's probably going to knock around as it's turning. So you got to do it with the lid on because it's ultraviolet light. So you switch it over to cure. I'm going to put it for 5 minutes, and I'm going to put it on the slowest speed and then hit start. Oh, it's not hitting. I got it. Well, no, it is. It is hitting. So I didn't get it lined up perfect. And as you can see, it just rotates around and is exposed to that ultraviolet light, and it does the final cure for the resin. And it hardens it and all that. So, like I said, on this particular piece, I noticed where the attachments for the supports, it left little bumps, and I can also take these off now because once that's cured, it's safe to touch. And I've already cleaned up everything. Optimally, I like the shop towels, the blue shop towels, but paper towels will work too. And I've got some long needle nose for getting in places and pulling things off. And then I've got a variety of these little small. I used to make chainmail, and so a lot of these were used in crimping wire and stuff. But little flat nose, little bent, some cutters, a little long nose, and then just some shorter stubbies. So that helps me get supports out of inconvenient places. So that mask used about 500 milliliters of resin, give or take, because that was full when I started it at 1,000 milliliters, and it's just at the 500 milliliter level now. So the masks and stuff like this guy I printed and stuff, I like to print them solid so that they're really durable. I mean, this thing is strong, very strong. They call it ABS like resin, but it's very durable. I wouldn't go throwing it on the concrete or something because it'd probably shatter like acrylic or something. But you know, anywho, all right, a couple of minutes. So I don't know if anybody has come to this live. Like I said, I'm really new. I used to do vape reviews on YouTube. That's where I built up some of the subscription numbers that you see from doing vape reviews. And then I had issues moving around, had issues with internet. It's kind of hard to upload videos and stuff. We moved to this house, and for a long time we were on satellite internet. If anybody's used satellite internet, it's slow, it's terrible. If a bird flies in the right path, it'll cut your signal off, and you have data limits. So I wasn't exactly going to be uploading multi-gig videos when I only got so many gigs worth of data a month. So I just kind of dropped off of YouTube for a while, but then I've got interested in 3D printing, and then have gotten this going now. And I'm going to be in it for the long haul. So I'm a disabled veteran. I served in the U.S. Army for 6 years, 5 years, 11 months, and 11 days. I've been out since 2012, but just back problems, PTSD, stuff like that. But I do work full time too. It's not great, and I don't, it's not great, but I'm trying to make things better. But I've got the bug on this 3D printing. It's just so cool to be able to. I want to try to learn 3D modeling, so I'm not just printing what other people have made. I want to make my own stuff, But I'm a big gamer. I love gaming. I might start doing a Twitch channel. I like MMORPGs. I like Cyberpunk. I like Baldur's Gate 3. I've played WoW. I've played Star Citizen. I've played Terra. I've played Final Fantasy 14. I've played. Cookies are done. Just FYI. So let's see. Now, when you do your first cure, you want to check and make sure that nothing is still feeling damp or wet. Because then you might, okay, yeah, that came out perfect. So it is, oh, we got one spot right there. I got one little spot for some reason. Now I'm going to use some IPA to clean off some resin here. Right here. For some reason, I don't know where that came from. Oh, I bet you that was a wet spot. It was a wet spot that I didn't get dry. If you don't get all the IPA off, really, before you cure it, it can cause issues. And in this, I got resin on it from somewhere, so I've got a blemish on this now. That's my fault, and I didn't see it, but oh well. Yeah, so anyway, it cured fine, but I guess I had a wet area. I don't know if y'all can see that. To see how that's shiny. Either there was some IPA there, and it caused issues with the ultraviolet light, or somehow I think I had some IPA on my glove, and when I went to set that in there, I transferred it, and it causes that shiny, like melted area right there. So, there's a blemish, but the goal is still, I achieved the goal I wanted. I wanted to print this cyber mask like this. So there you go. And I think it looks cool. And if I end up doing some processing to this, I can sand that down, sand these bumps off, and see it's got a little bit of flex to it, but it's very rigid, very rigid. Um, but I'd do a little bit of sanding and then probably primer it, and then, or maybe keep the black, but then use some rub and buff or something like that, like some silver or gunmetal or something like that, just to dress it up some. So there you go. That's how I process a 3D print. Like you can see I don't know if y'all can see that in the light. There's some shiny areas. That's resin. That's excess resin that you didn't get cleared off, and that's something that Uncle Jesse specifically talked about, that he got better cleaning with the mean green than he did with the IPA, that it seemed to strip that excess resin off a lot better, and he didn't get any of these shiny areas where excess resin was left over and stuff like that. So anyway, there you go. That's how I process it. So if you see this, I appreciate it. Please, if you want authentic guy, just talking about 3D printing, I'm your guy, Jason, 3D Pathfinder. Give me a like and a subscribe. I would definitely appreciate it. Thank you. Now I'm going to walk over and turn it off.